Good afternoon and welcome, Smite fans. My name is Tom, and I'm going to be joined by Taco today. We've got North American console and European console. They're going to start their season off today.
And it should be a really exciting matchup. Also have a couple of team name changes for these EU teams that are actually going to be coming through for today. We've got Quantum, who is now known as eRa, Eternity, and Naventic, who were formerly dual mains.
Right, and then Team Rival, well, they're still Team Rival, but Enix, however, that's also going to be a different name for some recognizable teams, so we'll be able to catch up with those players in just a little bit. But eRa, Eternity, Naventic is how we're going to start the day off today. I'm very interested in to see how these European teams have done given the offseason.
There's been a lot of talk lately from the EU console scene that these players have really been striving to improve. A little bit of roster apocalypse going on as well. So I think that it'll be really fun seeing how exactly they're turning out against each other and see who's going to be coming out on top for this initial debut.
So without further ado, let's head right to the P's and B's. eRa, Eternity on the left-hand side, Naventic on the right. One more time. eRa, Eternity, formerly known as Quantum, and Naventic used to be dual mains. So keep that in mind. Khepri, first ban out by EE.
Very standard ban already, and I can't disagree with the Robin ban in the slightest. I would anticipate maybe a potential Fafnir, Susano following up next, maybe even the Odin.
Yeah, I mean, the Odin is very powerful, mainly on the console, but also we've seen him powerful throughout PC as well. Kurdanos here, Kurnunos. You'll be banned out here.
I don't know what it is about that name, but I just prefer to say Kurninos. You just got to keep it rolling. It feels like it can just keep going forever. But the Fafnir selection will be the next ban for Naventic, and eRa, Eternity having first shot selection, and it's going to be the Chang'e.
Yeah, no surprise here. Chang'e very, very strong, able to really bring a number of things throughout the jungle, whether it be control, healing, but most importantly, she's able to travel throughout the jungle very quickly. Her passive allows her to really traverse the map and sort of be omnipresent, which is exactly what you want out of a jungler. So Chang'e, the first selection for eRa, Eternity. Naventic gonna come up next with a god named Osiris.
And Bologna is still on the table, whether or not Naventic opts to go for it, and they will not. It will be the Susano selection, but pressure early on is something that Naventic has already established pretty heavily with Osiris and Susano, and having that Thor selection just leads me to believe that Chang'e will be headed to mid lane.
Yeah, and Chang'e mid is something that the console really started, and then Chang'e moved over to the jungle, and they said, sure. But Chang'e mid is definitely a character that brings a lot of early clear. With her two abilities, she can definitely clear the wave very quickly. And it looks like she might go head-to-head with another healer, Aphrodite.
I do believe, though, in the 1v1, pure 1v1 scenario, Chang'e is probably a little bit more favored due to her cooldowns in comparison to Aphrodite. Plus, it's easier for her to counter the healing of Afro. However, if Afro is careful with her positioning, I think it could be incredibly difficult for eRa, Eternity to find those secure of the kills.
I like the Bologna ban here by Naventic. Osiris and Bologna are sort of the brother and sister of the dual of the solo lane right now. The cleave basic attacks really bode well for those that are buying Death's Toll. A lot of sustain in that regard. So Osiris and Bologna are kind of, if I get Osiris, you expect to get Bologna. But with the Hoyi selection, Naventic kind of sat there and went, okay, we'll ban it.
I'm kind of hoping for an Odin here from eRa, Eternity. It hasn't been removed yet. It's a very strong pick on console, and it is going to be a Sobek. They still have that option left for the Odin, which could shut down, or not necessarily shut down, but at least lock in 3 members already selected for Naventic, but it's going to be the Nike.
Right. Osiris technically has a way to stop Ren through the Judgment Tether, but it's just not going to be reliable. It's not a reliable crowd control for Nike, so she'll be able to get her clear off relatively well. And Apollo is a character that people speak lowly of in the current meta. Why do we not see him?
He just doesn't have a very strong laning phase, and I do feel against a Huyi Sobek, the Apollo probably, or he should at least struggle, and Huyi should exert so much pressure onto him in lane and really prevent him from clearing or getting the farm that he would want early on.
Yeah, it should be very interesting to see how the Global Hunter does in this game. Naventic, formerly known as Dual Mains, taking on eRa, Eternity, formerly known as Quantum. Let's take it to the battlefield.
And I can imagine just going to be some fairly safe starts from the get-go. I don't think that either side is really looking to overstep any boundaries, because I feel as though if they've been watching SPL at least, they're going to be expecting or looking out for that initial solo laner gank.
Right, and you can see that Xing hanging out here. He's going to be the support player for Naventic. But there is no eyes on the Nike as she's sitting by her own blue buff, waiting for that to spawn. But it looks like Naventic on the right side of the map actually figured that out, and Beast Feast is going to go ahead and invade onto Nike.
And that's kind of a risky position for Mango Man to be in right now. He really just wanted to secure those minis and then look for the lane clear, because that would still secure him level 2 despite not having the pressure early on.
The Apollo here does the same thing on the other side of the map, making sure he gets those 2 minis, understanding that he might not have lane pressure because of the way Hou-Yi will be able to clear the wave. So I like the attention to detail, but ERA Eternity invade fully into the enemy jungle, taking away the red buff.
And that's kind of just what you anticipate to happen. At least if you're in Naventic, you just know that you're not going to have pressure in that dual lane side. Even though Sobek isn't a high priority clear support, in comparison to the Xing 10, I mean, 9 times out of 10, Sobek and Hou-Yi will win that lane.
Also, it was a 2-on-1. The Xing started off in the mid lane, allowing Naventic to go ahead and find an invade of their own, so everybody who winds up with the red buff, it's just the oppositions.
I don't believe that they'll be able to, yeah, there's no contest whatsoever for that purple buff. So I like the decision making by Sirduckbot to not bother trying to contest for his own red buff. It could put him in a bit of a risky spot. Even though there's not a whole lot of kill potential between the Aphrodite and Xing 10 early on, you still don't want to get poked out of your health bar.
Yeah, you got to be able to stay relevant just a little bit.
Speaking of relevant, Beast Feast looking for the aggression, and that is the damage that he did not want to find.
Yeah, low mana on Duckbot as well. He's going to be really careful here now that the Moonlight Dance is on cooldown. If he even got it. Actually, he didn't dance out of the Susano damage, so he probably doesn't even have it. To be honest with you, waiting until level 4 in order to retain that. But he pops Potion, winds up being half mana, and so he'll be able to clear a little bit effectively.
It's not uncommon for Chang'e players to not immediately level up their immunity, not expecting too much aggression. Mid lane is still a fairly safe role for a Chang'e to be played in. And even though it's not as popular as it once was, I still think that it's certainly something to keep in mind.
I mean, especially when you're up against an Aphrodite, you're not expecting, a giant burst of damage. It's really the Susano that Sirduckbot has to be scared of, or rotations from the other characters. The Aphrodite's damage is it's dot-based for the most part outside of back off, and it's just very obvious when it's coming. You're not going to get surprise Krakened or surprise Stothalted.
Luckily for CRYSIS, though, since Coach Killy and before speaking hold that thought, we've got aggression in the mid lane. And
the stun! The stun prevents Maloaise from getting it, but a quick turnaround. And the hammer throw confirms first blood for ERA Eternity.
And already looking for that early game aggression, but Beast Feast isn't willing to let it go. The Sunder is good onto Maloaise, but the secure might not be there, and just with the skin of his teeth, he's able to get out.
Really smart play there by the Thor player, understanding that you can't get knocked up during Berserker's Barrage. As soon as the tornado comes out from the Susano, goes to the spin to win, doesn't get knocked up, and then calmly tosses the hammer out for the teleport to it. Very well done by Maloaise to confirm that he won't be the answer back kill for Naventic.
Coach Killy went on a little bit of a field trip though, but that was Bradley's ultimate.
Yep.
And really no follow-up to go through it, but probably just forced out due to the Sobek not having that threat with the pluck.
Yeah, long-range poke coming out from the Thor. Something that we are so used to seeing, but to be honest with you, the Thor character in the jungle, there's so many other selections these days that he's not exactly the go-to, so to see that double tap come out, he's not even maxing it, right? It's still fun to watch.
I actually like his decision-making to max out his Berserker's Barrage in comparison to his hammer toss, because if he were to max the hammer throw, it'd be so easy for Susano to interrupt that for the poke clear, and I think that he'll just have a lot more consistent damage, as well as preventing knockups from this team.
Yeah, that's the big one, is preventing the knockups, because this one against Naventic, you could go either direction. Right now, the direction he's looking for is in the direction of Osiris. Still not going to get it. Had to wait out the cooldown. You can see everything on cooldown outside of the ultimate. But when you look at like gods like Eribiiax or even Stunwave, they can disrupt the Zerka's barrage. So it's, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Pretty much it's just whatever flavor you're looking for. And he's going with the Berserker's barrage here just to be a little bit more consistent.
Beastfee's getting a lot of damage of his own though, and forcing the Nike to back off.
Yeah, that's a good look for Naventic. Mango Man gonna have to back to base, and he will have the teleport available to him, so he'll be able to come back to lane relatively easily. But eRa Eternity go ahead and clean up the oracles as well. So the first blood goes to eRa Eternity, and that's pretty much where they were able to stay relevant. Everything else had been going in Naventic's direction until the Thor comes down. Looking for the kill on a Xing. Not gonna happen, but a beautiful wall.
And it's gonna be Sirduckbot who might actually find himself dying. The tick is good from Bradley, but that's a clean trade out for both squads. Although I do think that would favor Naventic just a little bit more, exchanging their support for a mid laner.
Exactly. The powerful mid laner wants to get that farm, the support. Oh well, you get used to trading your life there, so that one does go the way of Naventic, but at least both teams wind up with a kill. Mango Man being chased down by Stunwave, the ultimate and the basics, but a beautiful wall by the Thor player separates the two. It's a dash from Beast Feast to make sure he's eaten, and Nike goes down. Mango Man with his first death.
And that's the threat of Susano every single time, just pulling you back in right when you think you're about to get out.
Right now, 2-2 after that chase down. That's a really good play for Naventic. Well, one, it puts them up a couple of 100 gold, which is not much to really write home about, Taco, but more importantly, gives them the momentum back. They get the kill without getting an answer back, which evens things up.
The icing on top would have been, the only way that could have possibly been better is if the buffs had also been spawning at that stage, but unfortunately they weren't available just yet. Still, having that pressure onto the Osiris is going to be so much more favorable, considering that Osiris is already going to be ahead in this lane. And now it'll just mean that Stunwave can probably look for some early rotation since he's established his lead.
And that's really what the Osiris wants to do. He wants to get in the middle of those team fights and just sort of disrupt everybody and look to see how he can affect everything just simply by being around. I mean, the Judgment Tether and some of the abilities that he has available to him, like the Sickle, he's just looking to harass players and individually make them sort of walk in the other direction. He's not going to really find a strong crowd control option. He's just, as you like to say, gonna press W at you and make you walk away.
Yeah, and right now it's looking like Maloaise wants to just keep moving forward into Eribiiax on this Aphrodite, but Sirduckbot could actually be in a little bit of trouble. Immunity is good enough to keep him out of the ultimate from Xing.
That hurts so much. Xing uses an ultimate, and the mid laner gets out of it with a second ability. Not even beads. Look at that. The beads not popped. Such an important part of what brings Chang'e into the game. Beast Feed's gonna get jumped on, and here's Maloaise looking for the final hit. Can't fight it with the hammer, but the rotation on Coach Killy on the front end makes sure that Beast Feed can't go further. Now trouble for Thor. The up down is good, and Bradley confirms the kill onto Maloaise.
That's the fun of Sunder mixed in with the Xing 10 damage, and now Sirduckbot's actually looking to take up this solo kill, but the rotation from CRYSIS is going to ensure that the Afro stays safe in the mid lane.
Yeah, and with no long-range crowd control in the mid lane available, that's going to mean CRYSIS can't get that kill either, despite his rotation. Didn't use the ultimate, which is good. Nike over the wall to meet up his teammate, but the rest of Naventic are here as well. Mango Man gonna fall again, this time in the mid lane.
Really just no escape from 4 members, but the rotation is so strong from Vaporish, and that ultimate is just raining down on everyone.
Beautiful ultimate coming out from the Hou Yi player, making one guy fall. Eribiiax gonna have to rethink things. Nice little poke coming out from the ricochet.
That's pretty cheeky right there, is getting off that. It's always a good feeling whenever you get off that bounce ricochet, but it looks like Beast Feast isn't ready to give this one up quite yet. Poked out so much. The wall is good from Maloaise, blocking him off from the escape route, but just not enough damage.
Bradley almost got smoked out there too by the wall, but he's able to grab the Thor at the last second. Still, not going to be anything consequential. Maloaise able to wiggle out of there.
That is so unfortunate, just watching 3 members walk away at 15, 20% HP, knowing just one, if that stun had hard connected instead of just cutting them off, I think he could have easily looked for that double tap pickup potential. But
Right.
forcing them out, it still leaves eRa Eternity in a solid spot because at the very least, they'll be able to look for this aggression now that they have the Oracle Vision already. Eribiiax could be in a little bit of trouble here. No juke is the best juke, and now Sirduckbot is actually the one who's almost about to fall down.
Yeah, that looks a little bit rough, but like you said, no juke is the best juke. Eribiiax just stood still. Maloaise was anticipating the move. I think a lot of people in chat right now are going, oh my god, NA ult, weakened ult. But really what it comes down to is you, with the Thor ult, you're anticipating the movement, and Eribiiax literally just stood there.
Vaporish almost had that triple bounce ricochet connect onto the Aphrodite, and had that happened, that chase would have been almost definite. He would have been so poked out.
Oh yeah, he winds up like, what, 1 or 2 basics from death?
Exactly. And that will be the ultimate from Sirduckbot, trying to secure that speed vote just a little bit too late. But now that Naventic know that that cooldown is, or that ultimate is not going to be available, I can imagine some aggression coming through pretty soon.
Yeah, that's a really big deal for the guys playing against Eternity, understanding that Duckbot's not going to have that waxing moon. Fantastic ability for crowd control, so not going to be available here. 4-4 read our kills as we're approaching our 11th minute. eRa Eternity are trailing by a very slight amount, just about 500 gold. Naventic have the lead, but not by much.
No real lead really established for either side, and I would say that this is still a pretty good slot for either team to be in, really, because they both have a sustained mages that would prefer to wait until the mid-late game points before looking for that team fight presence. And
yeah. I mean, these characters, when we say late game mages, I think players think of Thoth and gods that are Vulcan, gods that are going to blow you up late game. Well, Duckbot and Eribiiax are going to blow you up late game, but their utility and their application to the battlefield is just going to be a lot higher. Duckbot is going to be able to dance around in these team fights. Eribiiax, on the other hand, is going to be able to really provide a lot of healing as well.
I think that it's going to be a pretty strong look as soon as the team fights and everything keep developing, but we do have a brief pause coming through on the side while they're sorting out a couple of connection issues on their end.
Yep, just getting the players back into position. We'll see in a moment, but what an interesting matchup between our two healers. We have our Aphrodite versus the Chang'e. When it comes down to it, very different styles of healing. Chang'e is going to be a team fight healer. Aphrodite is going to be a single target healer. What do you think is better?
I would probably favor the Chang'e in this circumstance, but I think a lot of it's also just really going to depend on how they choose to utilize their kits. I would imagine that Sirduckbot's looking for a little bit more of the damage potential with sustain on the back burner, and it's the complete 180 for Eribiiax on this Aphrodite. He just wants to heal.
Yeah, I mean, he's just, trouble under the mid lane tower. Duckbot could be caught out, avoids the damage from the ultimate, but Beast Feast takes down Duckbot eventually. Top side comes Vapor, and he's going to get an kill against Bradley, and in the mid lane, watch out for the flank coming out from Stunwave.
And immediately, Beast Feast turning onto Maloaise, who got a beautiful stun, but it's just not enough. The stun wave coming in with the Osiris absolutely obliterates.
Coach Killy walks up. I don't know what he's doing here, Taco. Coach Killy killed himself.
This is for sure going to be a wipe. Mango Man he popped the ultimate, but I don't think it's going to buy him enough time, and it doesn't. Aphrodite sustain, Beast Feast securing that tower. I was worried for him for a second there, but turns out he's going to be just fine. But same cannot be said for eRa Eternity, getting the worst end of that trade.
Now, Naventic are going to be able to pick up the Gold Fury relatively easily here. No problems. A 13 might be bad luck, but the 13th minute is all good luck for Naventic. Winning the team fight. Duckbot's here by himself. Not a good spot for the Lonely Mage to be in. Naventic find themselves double digits, but is it enough to keep them off the Gold Fury?
I'm not sure. Maloaise might enter the same exact fate that Duckbot just did. The Aegis is going to buy enough time for Beast Feast to survive.
Mad.
Full cooldowns. There's nowhere he can go.
Oh, he's mad. He's so mad. He's so mad.
He keeps him off the Gold Fury, but at the expense of his own life, I'm still not certain that's worth it, considering that Sirduckbot just fell, and experience is still heavily in favor, I would say, at Naventic.
I'm going to go against you there, Taco. I think it was worth it simply because 2,600 gold, 3,000 gold, that's a lead that, all right, we can deal with, we can fight into, no problem. You add the Gold Fury onto that, and you're looking at 5,000, 6,000, that's a much more difficult lead to really fight into.
I'm not worried about that gold differential, though.
The
Nearly a
experience.
5K experience difference, and a lot of that falling between the junglers, I would say, considering that Beastfeast, he just picked up 2 or 3 kills from everything that just happened in the past couple of minutes. And having a Susano with that sort of lead, and it's still fairly early. We're just now approaching the mid-game stage, but 6-1-4, level 15 in comparison to Maloaise, who's only level 11.
That's a really big point there, the 4 levels that separate. And Thor is supposed to be your bodyguard here. Susano can run the game if you let him. That's the interaction I was talking about before, but Susano can run the game if you let him, and the guy that's supposed to stop that, shoutouts to the Hunter duel on the left side, going the way of Vapor, and despite the 2-on-1, is supposed to be Thor. But if he's 4 levels down, how effective can he be at that? Landing on Eribiiax doesn't do much, and now he might be in trouble himself.
They're just going to disengage, and I like the decision to disengage. Maybe if Killy can find a pluck, then they'll be in danger.
This is a really big play for Mango Man. He needs to make this happen. If eRa Eternity convert this, Taco, is a great chance for them to come back up even. Eribiiax going to fall here to Sirduckbot. Left side, and the Beast is trying to dance in and out of the team fight, and he does so. That's the level differential we're talking about.
And it's now Sirduckbot with the Sunder being active on him. Stun Wave just going to completely run him down. Beastfeast still looking for the aggression.
Pick a target. eRa Eternity looking at everybody, but nobody at the same time. Because of their split DPS, Naventic are able to just chow down and slowly but surely chip away at every member of eRa Eternity. Taco, I didn't notice it in the first team fight, but this team fight, it was very obvious that everybody had a different target. Look at all 3 of those life bars in red. None of them were 100%. But more importantly, none of them are 0. If all of those have the same amount of damage on one target, you kill them. And then you kill the next guy. And you kill the next guy. No split DPS. eRa Eternity completely flubbed that team fight. I thought that was going to be good for them because of the flank.
It looks so solid, but I think you're right. It was just that lack. It was tunnel vision. They tunnel vision onto one member who gets low and ignore everybody else around them. And speaking of getting low, CRYSIS, this is the issue with Apollo versus Hu Yi. Just, it's so easy for He, especially on a dash as slow as Apollo's, to catch him out. But Vaporish might have just caught himself a little bit caught out. But considering it's an Aphrodite ganking him, he'll be just fine.
Yeah, exactly. No real burst damage from the Afro. She's going to go the way of the bird. So eRa Eternity do some bullying in the left lane. And they're going to pick up the Oracles because of it.
These teams need to start looking for objectives pretty soon. We still haven't had a single hard Gold Fury commit yet. It was pulled off of by Naventic, but they couldn't really secure it due to Maloaise interrupting. It's really just been the experience slow bleed. So I would like to see eRa Eternity try and bait out a team fight, especially since they're the ones with the Oracle vision already.
Right, and like we said, as long as they're able to pick a target, things should be fine for them. Down 2,000 gold, not a big deal. Not a big deal at all for fighting. It's really the difference between the junglers that you have to be careful of. Maloaise can't go head on into the Susano, and, well, everybody's got to be careful of Susano.
I'd say it wouldn't even be bad for eRa Eternity to just commit their kits to all-inning Beastfeast on that Susano.
I think that's the right play.
He's so far ahead, and he's been carrying his team in these engagements.
Well, eRa Eternity trying to go for the Portal Demon, but an objective without a pick, probably not going to happen here versus eRa, or versus Naventic, excuse me.
And I also think that Stunwave is just trying to continue ensuring he's as annoying as possible. Luckily for Mango Man, he is securing his own blue buff. That's a good feel. Juking out the pull-in from Beastfeast. And Mango Man just trying to do the best that he can in such a losing scenario, I would say. He knows that there's 2 members already in this lane. I'm glad that Maloaise is joining him to try and split some XP since Mango Man's already slightly ahead of Stunwave. Nothing wrong with your jungler picking up a little bit of farm when there's such a level gap.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, even let Nike jungle for a while. Let Nike jungle for a while and just stick the Thor in the solo lane. What do you say to that?
Oh, Stunwave would tear him apart, I think. Osiris versus Thor, I don't think he'd have a good time.
If the Thor had been maxing his hammer, I think I'd actually say that in seriousness. eRa Eternity do confirm the Gold Fury, and it looks like they're going to get away with it. Oh, Maloaise. Oh, no. Oh, no. Over the wall. Thank you.
Oh, luckily for Maloaise, he's able to escape, but only temporarily. Beast is still looking for the engage, and now CRYSIS is up in the air. They're going to dive underneath this tower.
Of course they are. They want to keep him down. Nice juke! What a beautiful juke! The backstep into the teleport hammer. He's under the tower. He's got 1 HP. Nice heal. The wall separating. Has to find a way out. He does! Maloaise, all of your previous transgressions are gone in my mind. That was a beautiful play.
That was so greedy by Naventic, chasing Maloaise from Gold Fury all the way down to a little bit past his T2 tower. That's insane to have that much of a commit. And
sometimes you just see red.
I do think that Area Eternity turned tail just a little bit too soon. Had maybe Vaporis stuck around, even without his ultimate, I think all he needed was a stun on anybody underneath the tower, and they were guaranteed dead.
Yeah, I really would like to see some sort of punish for that overextension. But again, Maloaise just with the perfect jukes. Coach Killy unable to find the dash, but will look for the kill underneath the tier 1 tower. Pop, come out Sobek, but it's Aegis. Well done. Can Aegis after the fact. Coach Killy gets another kill. Maloaise looking for the lane, won't be able to reach it. Instead, get the farm. Attaboy, Thor.
Mega Man should be alright here, facing off against Stun Wave in the auto attack slap box. But it was a really strong look by Mega Man. He almost picked up Beast Feast on that Susano, and if it wasn't for the fact that Susano is Susano with insane mobility, I think he could have very well fallen there.
Yeah, well, almost. Not gonna be enough. I need it all the way. All the way. That one's gonna go Oracles to the left-hand side. Era Eternity evening things up and getting even closer with regards to the experience as well. Still down by a lot, but inch by inch coming back into it.
And that's really all you need right now, especially because Area Eternity, they've got the slightest of a gold lead, and considering that there's such a level disparity between the two junglers, that's a good look.
They also have the top side of the solo and hunter role, however, 2 levels for both the Nike and the Hou-Yi above their opposition. So yeah, you know what? Thor's not having a great game, but that's why it's a team sport. Mango Man and Vapor are really able to pick up the slack where Maloaise gets into trouble, and now we're watching what happens. Again, I would have liked to see more punish, but Maloaise gets to be the bait and then come into his over-level teammates that can really do the spanking.
I like this check by Naventic, trying to see if they can catch Area Eternity sleeping, and they do, picking up that Portal Demon, and at 21 minutes, that could very well be a Fire Giant engage pretty soon. Sirduckbot, meanwhile, just trying to zoom away.
And he'll do so. Different story for Maloaise. He's going to get put down easily. Ouch.
That's the gap between the junglers right now. Yep. And now Mango Man, he's actually in a world of hurt as the Sunder is already out onto him. 5 members surrounded by Naventic.
Nice ultimate from Duckbot makes the separation. Mango Man might get out.
I don't know. Mango Man can get out. Sirduckbot's going to cost him his beads, but he'll be able to escape as well. And Coach Killy?
Again, that's the second time I've watched him do that. What's his goal there? He's looking for a sickening strike?
I don't know, but right now, because of that, Sirduckbot is again trying to run away from the squad of Naventic, chasing all the way into the Phoenix. Now his Aegis is going to be expended, and the damage...
Oh, come on, homie. Eribiiax. That's just insulting. Diving the Phoenix, not a good look. He's going to go ahead and fall down. Good. Era Eternity makes him pay for his, let's say, unwise decision.
Might have been worth it, though, because Naventic were able to pick up the T2 tower while the rest of Area Eternity were focusing on killing that free Afro.
They were getting the tier 2 tower without the Afro push-up. That was theirs anyway. As soon as Coach Killy died, that became their tier 2, which again, that's the second time I've seen Coach Killy do that. Walk up into a group and just sort of get crowd controlled. I think he's looking for the heal off of Sickening Strike, but he wound up getting taken advantage of.
Oof. Barely escaping. Beast Feast cost him his ultimate though, and on Area Eternity, they're pulling off this Fire Giant. They're looking for the aggression, and I love this response. Stun Wave, he might not be able to get out. I think he's gonna die.
He just might. Mango Man on the chase because of it. Stun Wave gonna fall down. Beautiful help coming out from Thor. Malo absolutely making himself count. The crits coming out from the Hou-Yi. He started making those crits count. With the rage here finished, building now into a Fatalis.
I like the decision. Typically, we're accustomed to seeing the Hunters build into a Deathbringer after they pick up the Rage, but considering the kind of draft that Vaporesh is against, he can 100% get away with this build.
What about Naventic's draft allows the Fatalis to happen?
You just want to completely chunk down the Aphrodite as fast as possible, and with the Fatalis and Rage, you're going to have the crit damage as well as the attack speed in order to try and secure that pickup.
He does, of course, have the Death Toll to sell and replace with the Deathbringer, or even the Inkavolt, which is looked at as a bridge item and usually sold in the late game for something larger as well. So about 1.5 spots to find other itemization into, as eRa Eternity not just treading water and staying relevant, but actually with a lead now. 2,200 gold in the lead for EE.
And I think that this is purely because of the fact that Naventic just keep getting so greedy and chasing kills that they really shouldn't. At a certain stage, you need to just recognize that you're not going to have the kill secure every single time. It's all right to reset and leave somebody at 10% health.
Yeah, it totally calls them half kills or technical kills, where the guy's not dead, but he has to go back to base and he can't contribute to the team fight anyway. So an important feature to really keep in mind. The collapse on Eribiiax from left and right for the coach Killy and Mango Man respectively. Eribiiax takes a big chunk of his HP. The up down from Nike, not going to be good enough, but the Rend will be. Scratch that, Maloaise gets credit for it. Number 2 for the Thor, down 3 levels instead of 4 at this point. Vapor gets a kill as well, Taco. We're seeing EE take this team fight.
Vaporesh is absolutely tearing apart the entirety of Naventic. Just nothing that they can do. He's got so much protection from the rest of his team. Coach Killy not going to be able to catch up with the Sonos with speed buff, and he leaves Maloaise open in the backside because of it.
When you're down, you have to play like you're down. You have to realize that you're down. And Maloaise right now is playing like his team is a lead, but he doesn't. And Maloaise is playing like he has the lead himself, and that's kind of problematic, allowing him to die. But Bradley's here, so is Stunwave. At the same time, the Fire Giant's still going to go the way of eRa Eternity. Duckbot takes down Bradley. Stunwave falls to Duckbot as well. Double kill for the mid Chang'e. And the Fire Giant will fall down. We're all tied at 17 here, folks, but the gold tells a very different tale. 4,000 in the lead for eRa Eternity, and they got the Fire Giant, and they're barking down the right side lane.
eRa Eternity better buy Vaporesh dinner after after game number 1 at least, because he has been completely carrying. Granted, he's added some assistance from his teammates as well, but his autos and ricochets have been pretty on point as far as securing the damage necessary. When Eribiiax was running away from that team fight, he got chunked for 400 damage off of a crit.
Yeah, that was a big deal. Throughout the entire game, Vaporesh has been able to really provide this constant source of damage. And Duckbot is not going to you're not going to find it here on his KDA 349 looking average, right? And even his healing, if we take a look at it, it's not even that robust, about 9,300. It's not bad. It's average, again. But what I like about Duckbot, what he's been able to do, he's been able to... Maloaise, what are you doing? Like, this is what I'm talking about.
Neighborhood.
This is what I'm talking about. The team's in the lead now. You, homie, go back home. But my point is, praising Duckbot, he's been able to save his teammates with some clutch ultimates, find some nice heals, and he's been doing a lot of the things that don't wind up on the scoreboard to allow his team to win. So, Vapor, they're buying you dinner because of that. That's why the Ho-Yi is king of this match.
And Bradley looking for the aggression now onto Sirduckbot, but he's too fast. He's going to get away. Lock the ultimate onto Stunwave, preventing him from chasing down Vaporesh, but it's not enough. Beast going to be able to clean him up.
Yeah, those are the plays. Unfortunately, Vaporesh falls down. Those are the plays that I was commending Duckbot for, things like that. But unfortunately, Naventic kind of squandered their Fire Giant. 3 people still have it. 2 people still have it. But Vaporesh was the guy that you want to have it. You lose this. I'm not going to call it a team fight. Players are just out of position with a Fire Giant. Group up.
And I mean, it could cost CRYSIS his life here. Mega Man's just trying to run him down. But he accomplished his mission. He secured 2 towers for Naventic. And eRa Eternity, that really just starts off with Maloaise trying to solo invade a red buff, looking at 3 members from Naventic and waiting until he was 10% health to start ulting.
Yeah, Malo through the team fight that wasn't a team fight. I mean, basically we saw everybody try to help him and then try to help the players on their way to help him. And then everybody dies.
It's a chain pattern.
And that's that.
It's kind of like playing dominoes. If one person goes down, typically the rest will fall as well. Just because when you're running these compositions that have the sustain mentality behind them, and you get that with the Chang'e or the Aphrodite, typically whichever team has found the first pick is the one that's been winning the team fight.
Right, because the sustain on the other side can just sort of keep you going throughout as you find more subsequent picks after that.
Gold Fury has respawned. I would like to see eRa Eternity try to secure this, but as a team, I don't want to see anybody else breaking off or Maloaise trying to secure his own farm. If he just hides behind his teammates and drops a few Thor walls for Vapor's to secure and Sirduckbot to secure their damage, eRa Eternity will be just fine, but they have to stick together.
That's the key here, especially late in this game. eRa Eternity go ahead and pick up another Gold Fury, allowing them to regain the lead that they had initially. Luckily for them, Naventic didn't get the Phoenix when they were pushing. If they had, that might have been a very problematic spot to look at the game forward, but Naventic able to pick up some kills and just the towers. No Phoenixes just yet.
It's always so detrimental to lose a Phoenix, considering that you're constantly worrying about the fire creeps, and especially with Naventic having an Apollo, they are going to have to keep that in the back of their mind that CRYSIS might just split push his brains out and look for the Phoenix and then rotate into the fight with that ultimate.
Yeah, and that's a classic Apollo play, and you got to be careful of that. And the best part about it is, if you go to defend against the Apollo, he ults to the team fight and you can't. So it has to be the Soul Laner with a teleport that goes and defends, but taking your Soul Laner out of the team fight is a lot different than taking your Hunter out of the team fight. All of a sudden there's no front line, and what did you say before? Dominoes? It all just goes from there.
It's such a scary thought, really, when you just think about how important positioning can be so late into a game. And I think that for CRYSIS, I would actually like to see him try and disorient eRa Eternity by looking for that split push potential.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. You know, if you have the tools, do it, right?
He's not doing much else because, like, the damage, he hasn't really been able to find the damage. Vaporish has kept him completely shut out this game.
I mean, he's lost a couple of one-on-ones. He's lost a couple of two-on-ones with Xing over there. Vaporish has just been able to really find him and keep him down. So yeah, I mean, listen, if somebody gives me drumsticks, I don't try and play the violin with it. If you have a split push Apollo, go split push. Don't team fight against a unit that is made for team fighting.
Yeah, I just don't see how CRYSIS is going to be able to fare super well, especially considering that his build isn't necessarily one that just all-in burst. And now it's going to be Coach Killy looking for the pull onto Bradley, but he's got a pull-line mentality of his own. Ultimate not going to pick up anybody just yet, though.
I like to play from Thor, using the ultimate to immune out the Xing and then finding subsequent follow-up crowd control by himself. On the back end, however, Stonewave doing whatever he wants to Vaporish, able to jump away and detract, but Mango Man gets killed by CRYSIS. That's going to be a kill for the Apollo, his first of the contest. Here comes eRa Eternity, siphoning Naventic into this hallway. Not a bad look, but Duckbot's ult already down, and that means Naventic have the momentum.
And immediately, Beast Feast, he's looking for the pull onto anybody. Unable to find Coach Killy, but the slow is good from Stunwave. Coach Killy is not going to be able to stay alive. They're sieging. If
Naventic wipe them, which it looks like they want to, CRYSIS getting the kills when it counts. Number 3 for the Hunter. 50 seconds on these players, Taco. If Naventic get one more kill, they can just go for the Titan. They're going to opt for the Phoenix and sort of wait to see if EE play defense.
I mean, we were just saying that CRYSIS hasn't really been able to do too much into these team fights, and I guess he really just wanted to prove us wrong, but really that I would credit to Bradley just jumping into that backline and causing so much havoc.
Nice control coming out from Malo this time around. The stun into the hammer. He's in the sky. Just looking for a target. Gotta be careful here. Lands down after the Phoenix dies, and we'll see Naventic go ahead and back into the map.
And Vaporish, though, I'm not sure that he's ready to give this one up. It looks like he wants to commit onto Bradley. He's got the Fatalis available. Mango Man, meanwhile, chasing down motions.
Beautiful Mez.
Oh, that is depressing.
The Mez into the ult. Apollo fans love it. Literally everyone else hates it.
It's great when you're the one who's doing it.
Yup.
And now Afro, Eribiiax just trying to get away. He's not going to be able to this time around, though. I just don't see how he survives here. And Beast Feast, though, re-engaging into everybody.
Yeah, it's going to be trouble for him. Susano, not exactly the tankiest character. Shifter's shield might save him, and it will. So Beast Feast on the safe end of his tower, but there's a jump forward as the dash comes out from both players, and the chase is on.
They can't stay here. Eternity had to keep running. They're missing 3 Phoenixes, so the fire creeps are about to start pouring in.
I mean, the fire creeps are pushed up a little bit, so they have some wiggle room here, but the fight has to be clean. Vapor gets one, still clean. Malo, don't go for the solo kill, go for the team fight. There it is, lands on down, misses the stun. Still gets the kill thanks to the Berserker's Barrage. 3 players down for Naventic, 1 up very soon. Eribiiax going to be here in 10 seconds, but the other 3 down for about 40 plus.
And right now, I like this play from Eternity to just try and rush down the mid lane tower. Hopefully they can try and pick up a Phoenix, although it'll be pretty difficult to try and secure.
No, this is a Phoenix, I think, especially since Vapor's here. Eribiiax and Bradley can do their best, but I think that he should definitely be able to afford a Phoenix.
And right now, the aggression is on to Eribiiax. He's already had to expend his Aphrodite ultimate. Sirduckbot giving chase. And the link has been broken between the Xing and Afro.
Yeah, Vapor still can't get it, actually. Taco, it looks like you're right, although here's the wave of minions. 11 seconds till Sunwave is up, and the retreat is good for Eternity. I guess I overestimated the power coming out from the Hou-Yi.
Hou-Yi has a lot of damage, but onto players, not necessarily onto objectives. Well, Fire Giant he'll shred away because of the crit.
Right.
Phoenixes, you need a little bit more pen for that, and right now he's just got the penetration
That's
for
true.
Fatalis and Exi.
Yeah, no real penetration available for the Hunter, so slow objective secure here. 35 minutes in, Portal Demon gonna go down to Naventic here. Very close one as far as the kills are concerned. 22 to 23, the higher on that chart being the big N. However, they're trailing by about 4,000 to Eternity. Fire Giant being aggressed on. Malo making his play, but Naventic intelligently backing off.
And I love this play by Naventic, immediately recognizing Thor's in the sky, we don't have to fight, but now the fight is good from the rest of Naventic. They're trying to close in onto Eternity. Just looking to lock down their speed buff, but Eribiiax, Aphrodite moves pretty fast.
Yeah, there's another nice wall coming out from Malo again. He's down but not out, able to provide a little bit of help. There's the ultimate out of the Aphrodite. That's going to be a big play.
Oh,
Naventic
no.
still pushing forward.
Oh no, there's nowhere for Vapor's to go. Beast Feast's gonna clean him up, no problem. Meanwhile, on the backside of Eternity, they're just getting completely run down by everybody else from Naventic. Mango Man able to temporarily escape with his life. It's looking like he's gonna get out, and he will. But 3 Phoenixes are still dead for the side of Eternity. There's no way that this Titan holds out for much longer.
Not at all.
That's all that Naventic needed to do. They just had to keep that engagement going because they knew just how pushed up all those lanes would get from the fire creeps, and that's Winions, man, every single time.
Just looking for the pressure that the teams could provide, and that allows Naventic to go ahead and secure the victory. Well done by the guys there. Malo trying to do his best. I like the way the Thor played, I'd say 70% of the time. He understood he was down 70% of the time and used long-range walls and control like that, and then 30% of the time he walked into everybody.
Unfortunately, in that 30% of the time, though, it did involve. It just traces back to that initial red buff attempt after his team had secured the Fire Giant. And